Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the JISH Learn English Podcast. I'm Shaylin. Yesterday, I was talking to a student. She was telling me about her exam. She said, the exam was very difficult, but I could pass it. I understood her meaning, but something didn't sound quite right. So I asked her, do you mean you were able to pass it? And she paused, because she wasn't sure. This small difference, could and was able to, confuses many learners. And when you are speaking, even a small mistake like this can change how natural you sound. So today, let's understand this clearly, step by step. We'll listen to real conversations, and then we'll slowly break them down together. Let's begin with a simple situation. Two friends, Mark and Anna, are looking at old photos and talking about their childhood. Listen carefully. How do they talk about what they could do in the past?
Hey, Anna, I found some old photos while I was cleaning my room today. They really took me back. Look at this one. You're playing tennis here.
Oh, wow. I remember that. I loved playing tennis back then. I could play for hours and never feel tired.
Yeah, you were really good. I remember you could run faster than anyone on the school team. You were always winning.
Thanks, Mark. I practiced a lot, but I wasn't good at everything. I couldn't swim very well, and I always hated swimming lessons. What about you? You always had that heavy backpack.
That's true. I loved studying languages. I could speak a little French and Spanish when I was 15, but my math was terrible. I couldn't solve those difficult problems at all.
It's funny, isn't it? We all had different skills and so much energy. We could stay up all night talking and still go to school the next morning.
I know. Now if I stay up late, I feel completely exhausted. I need 2 or 3 cups of coffee just to function.
All right, so now let's understand something very important from the conversation you just heard. Did you notice how many times Mark and Anna used the word could? They were talking about their past, about their childhood, their skills, and the things they were able to do again and again, not just one time. And this is the key idea. We use could to talk about a general ability in the past. This means something you knew how to do for a long time. It was not just one moment. It was part of your life. For example, Anna said, I could play for hours. This doesn't mean she played one time. It means she had that ability again and again. Mark said, I could speak a little French. Again, this was not just one situation. It was a skill he had for some time. So whenever you talk about your past skills, things you learned and could do easily, you can use could. For example, when I was younger, I could run very fast. When I was in school, I could solve easy math problems. Simple, natural, and very common in everyday English. Now, let's also look at some useful phrases from the conversation that you can start using in your own life. Mark said, it took me back. This means something made him remember the past, maybe an old photo, a song, or a place. You can say, this song takes me back to my childhood. Anna said, I loved playing tennis back then. Back then means at that time in the past. For example, back then I didn't use a smartphone. Mark told Anna she had a natural talent. This means a skill that feels easy for you. You don't struggle too much. You might say, she has a natural talent for singing. They also talked about staying awake all night. Anna said they could stay up all night. To stay up means to not sleep. For example, I stayed up late to finish my work. So now you understand how to talk about past abilities using could. But here's where many learners get confused. Sometimes we are not talking about something we could do again and again. Sometimes we are talking about one specific situation, one moment when something was difficult, but we succeeded. And in that case, we don't use could. Let's listen to another conversation and see what happens in that kind of situation.
Hey, Sarah, you look a bit stressed. Are you okay?
I'm okay now, but I had a really terrible morning. I was driving to an important meeting with a new client, and suddenly I heard a loud noise. I got a flat tire right in the middle of the highway.
Oh no, that's scary. Were you stuck there? You must have been worried about being late.
I was. I really needed to reach that meeting on time. It was very important. I called my husband, but he was busy. Then I remembered a video I had watched last month. It took me about 30 minutes, but I was able to change the tire myself.
Wow, that's impressive. It's not easy to do that when you're stressed. Did you make it on time?
Just barely. There was a lot of traffic near the office, but I found a small shortcut, so I was able to arrive 5 minutes before the meeting.
That's amazing. You really handled the situation well.
Sarah really handled that situation well, didn't she? Now, let's understand something very important from her story. Did you notice she didn't say, "I could change the tire"? Instead, she said, "I was able to change the tire." And also, "I was able to arrive on time." Why? Because she is talking about one specific situation, that morning. It was not something she did again and again. It was a difficult moment, she tried, and finally she succeeded. And this is the key idea. When you talk about one situation in the past, especially when something is difficult and you succeed, we use was able to. Think about Sarah's situation. Flat tire, stress, no help, and then finally she solved the problem. So she says, "I was able to change the tire. I was able to reach the office." Now imagine if she said, "I could change the tire." It sounds a little strange, right? Because could feels like a general ability, like something she knew how to do anytime. But this was not about general skill. This was about success in one moment. So here's a simple way to remember. Use could for general ability in the past. Use was able to for one specific success. Let's look at a few simple examples. I lost my keys, but I was able to find them. The exam was difficult, but I was able to pass it. In both cases, there was a problem and then success. Now, let's also look at some useful phrases from this conversation. Sarah said she got a flat tire. This means the tire of the car lost air, so the car cannot move properly. Leo asked if she was running late. This means you are behind time. You may not arrive when you planned. He also said it's hard to figure it out when you are stressed. To figure something out means to find a solution to a problem. And at the end, he said Sarah saved the day. This is a very nice expression. It means you did something that stopped a bad situation from becoming worse. So now you understand how we use was able to in real situations. Now let's move to another conversation. This time, you'll hear both could and was able to used together. Listen carefully. How do they mix both forms when telling a complete story?
Jake, I saw your photos from the mountain hike this weekend. The view from the top looked amazing.
It really was, Emma. The sky was so clear. But honestly, it was one of the hardest things I've done all year.
Really? I'm surprised. You're usually so fit. Back in college, you could climb any hill without getting tired. You were always so energetic.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago. Things have definitely changed. During the hike, I felt completely out of breath. Halfway up, my legs were hurting so much, I almost wanted to give up.
Oh no, but you didn't give up, right? I saw your picture at the top.
No, I didn't. I took a short break, drank some water, and tried to relax. After a few minutes, I felt a little better, and I was able to reach the top before sunset.
That's amazing. You really pushed yourself.
Yeah, it felt like a big achievement.
Honestly, I don't think I could do that right now. I really need to start exercising again.
All right, so now let's understand something very important from the conversation you just heard. In that scene, Emma and Jake were talking about two different things. They were talking about the past, but not in the same way. Emma talked about Jake's life in college. She said, "You could climb any hill." And this is something very common when we talk about the past. When we describe our past, our skills, our habits, the things we were good at, we often talk about something that was true again and again, not just one time. And for that, we use could. So first, let's understand this clearly. What does could mean here? Could is used to talk about a general ability in the past. It means something you knew how to do for some time in your life. For example, when I was younger, I could run very fast. In school, I could solve easy problems. These are not one-time actions. These are abilities you had again and again. Now, let's look at the second part of the conversation. Jake was not talking about his college days. He was talking about one specific experience, the hike this weekend. It was difficult. He was tired. He almost gave up. But in the end, he succeeded. And for that, he said, "I was able to reach the top." So now, let's understand this part clearly. We use was able to when we talk about one specific situation in the past, especially when something is difficult and we finally succeed. It's not about ability over time. It's about one moment, one situation, one result. For example, I lost my keys, but I was able to find them. The exam was hard, but I was able to pass it. In both cases, there is a problem and then success. So now you can clearly see the difference. On one side, we have could, something true for a long time, something you could do again and again. And on the other side, we have was able to, one situation, one challenge, one success. Now, let's also look at some useful expressions from this conversation. Emma said the view was amazing. This is a very common word you can use for anything impressive or beautiful. Jake said he felt out of breath. This means you are breathing very fast after doing something difficult. He also said he wanted to give up. To give up means to stop trying because something feels too hard. But he didn't give up, and that's why he succeeded. You can say, "I wanted to give up, but I kept trying and I was able to finish." So now you understand how these two forms work together in real life. Now let's practice this together so it becomes natural for you. I'll say a sentence and you repeat after me. Try to speak out loud and copy the rhythm. When I was younger, I could run very fast. In school, I could solve easy problems. Now, let's try with was able to. I lost my keys, but I was able to find them. The exam was difficult, but I was able to pass it. Now, one more with both forms together. When I was younger, I could swim well, but yesterday I was able to swim across the river. Very good. If you practice like this, speaking will start to feel much more natural. Now, let's move to the next part and see what happens when we talk about failure, when something does not go as planned. Let's listen to the next conversation.
Hey, Rita, did you get the tickets for the Taylor Swift concert? I know you were waiting online this morning.
Oh, Sam, don't remind me. I'm so disappointed. I woke up really early and tried my best, but I couldn't get them. The website crashed as soon as I logged in.
Oh, no. That's frustrating. I know how much you wanted to go. Were there any tickets left at all?
No, nothing. I refreshed the page so many times, but I wasn't able to buy any tickets. Everything sold out in just a few minutes.
That's really unfair. It's always so hard to get tickets for big concerts. My brother tried yesterday too, but he couldn't get through either.
Yeah, maybe she'll have another tour next year. For now, I'll just listen to her songs at home.
All right, so now let's understand how we talk about failure in the past. In the conversation, Rita was trying to get concert tickets, but she didn't succeed. And here's the good news. This part of English is actually very simple. When you talk about something you tried to do in the past, but you failed, you can use couldn't. Rita said, "I couldn't get them." This is the most natural and common way to talk about failure. She also said, "I wasn't able to buy any tickets." And this is also correct. So now let's understand this clearly. For negative situations in the past, both forms are possible, couldn't and wasn't able. They mean the same thing in this case. But in everyday English, people usually prefer couldn't. Why? Because it's shorter, faster, and more natural in conversation. So if you're ever confused, just use couldn't. It's simple, and it will always sound natural. For example, I couldn't find my keys yesterday, or I couldn't finish my work last night. So now let's quickly connect everything we've learned. For general ability in the past, use could. For one success in the past, use was able to. For failure in the past, just use couldn't. Simple, clear, and very useful in real life. Now, let's also look at some useful expressions from this conversation. Rita said she was disappointed. This means you feel sad because something you wanted did not happen. Sam said she was looking forward to the concert. This means you were excited about something in the future. Rita also said the tickets sold out. This means everything was gone. There were no tickets left. And finally, she said she felt let down. This means you feel disappointed because things didn't go the way you expected. You can combine all of this in one sentence, like this. I was really looking forward to the concert, but the tickets sold out, so I couldn't get one. I felt really let down. So now you've seen how we talk about success and also failure. Now let's bring everything together. In the next conversation, you'll hear all of these forms used naturally in one story: past ability, success, and failure. Listen carefully. Can you notice each one? Let's watch.
David, I've been waiting to see you. How did your job interview go yesterday? I know you were really nervous.
Hey, Lisa. Wow, it was a long day. Everything went wrong in the morning. When I woke up, my car wouldn't start. I checked everything, but I couldn't fix it.
Oh no, that's stressful. So how did you get there?
I ran to the bus stop. Luckily, the bus was late, so I was able to catch it just in time. But when I reached the office, I was still feeling really anxious.
That's normal. Interviews can be scary, but you're good at talking to people. Back in college, you could always explain things so clearly. You've always had that skill.
Thanks. I tried to remember that. When I went into the room, I took a deep breath and tried to stay calm. There were 3 managers, and they asked some really tough questions.
And how did it go?
I couldn't remember one detail they asked about, so I just told them honestly. But I was able to answer the difficult questions pretty well. By the end, we were even laughing a little.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and guess what? The hiring manager called me this morning, and I was able to arrange a second interview for next week.
That's amazing, David. I'm really happy for you. Let's go get some coffee and celebrate.
All right, so did you notice them? Did you hear how David used couldn't, could, and was able to in different parts of his story? Now let me explain each one clearly. If you already understood them while listening, that's great. This topic is becoming clear for you. And if not, don't worry. Just listen carefully now and you'll understand exactly what each one means. In that story, David talked about a very stressful day, and we heard all three forms used naturally. Let's understand it step by step. First, David talked about his car problem. He tried to fix it, but he failed. So he said, "I couldn't fix it." This is a specific failure in the past, and that's why he used couldn't. Then Lisa talked about David's past, his college days. She said, "You could always explain things clearly." Here, she is not talking about one moment. She is talking about a skill he had for a long time. That's why she used could. Now let's look at David's successes. He ran to the bus stop and caught the bus. So he said, "I was able to catch it." Later in the interview, he answered difficult questions successfully. So he said, "I was able to answer them." And finally, he got another interview opportunity. So again, he said, "I was able to arrange a second interview." So now you can clearly see the pattern. Could is something true for a long time in the past. Was able to is one specific success. And couldn't is when you talk about something you tried but failed. It's all about understanding the situation. Is it a general ability or one specific result? Now, let's also look at some useful expressions from this story. David said it was an intense day. This means something very strong or stressful. He also said he felt anxious. This means feeling nervous or worried. To feel better, he took a deep breath to calm down. To calm down means to relax after feeling stressed. And finally, Lisa asked if he would land the job. This means to successfully get the job. You can use these expressions in your own sentences. For example, I felt very anxious before the interview, but I took a deep breath to calm down. Now it's time for you to practice speaking. This is the most important part because you don't learn English just by listening, you learn it by speaking. So this time, don't just repeat after me. I want you to think and say your own sentence. I'll give you a situation and the beginning of a sentence. You just complete it out loud wherever you are. All right, ready? Let's begin. Situation 1. Imagine you had a very difficult English test yesterday. You studied all night and finally you passed. Now tell your friend. Start like this. The test was hard, but... Good. Because this is a specific success, you should say, the test was hard, but I was able to pass it. Situation 2. Now imagine you are talking about your childhood. You want to tell someone that you knew how to ride a bicycle when you were very young. Start like this. When I was 5 years old... Nice. Because this is a general ability in the past, you should say, when I was 5 years old, I could ride a bicycle. Situation 3. Now imagine you went to the store yesterday to buy milk, but the store was closed. Tell your family what happened. Start like this. I went to the store, but... Excellent. Because this is a failure, you should say, I went to the store, but I couldn't buy any milk. Final 1. Now speak freely. Think about your real life. Tell me one thing. Something you couldn't do before, but now you can. Great! You can say something like, before I couldn't speak English confidently, but now I can express my ideas better. If you got these right, that's amazing. You now understand how to talk about your past abilities, your successes, and your failures in a natural way. Excellent work! I hope this lesson helped you clearly understand how to use could, was able to, and couldn't in real-life situations.
From talking about your childhood abilities to describing a difficult moment where you succeeded and even sharing a situation where something didn't work, you've seen how these forms are used naturally in English. Let's quickly remember the key idea. Use could for general abilities in the past. Use was able to for one specific success, and couldn't when you talk about something you tried but failed. If you keep practicing like this, your English will start to sound more natural and more confident. If you found this lesson helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.